Almost every country in the world is in debt. The United States has passed $38 trillion. Europe, Japan, China, Germany. Even oil-rich nations are deeply indebted. So if everyone owes money, who is the creditor? This is where things get interesting. Debt isn't just a burden. It's the skeleton of the modern world. Wars, crises, economic booms, and collapses, all of them sit on top of an invisible debt system. And when you follow that system far enough, you reach a strange conclusion. The world isn't really in debt to someone else. It's in debt to itself. But that doesn't mean everyone benefits equally. Today, global debt exceeds $315 trillion, nearly 3 times the size of the world economy. So how did we get here? The answer doesn't begin on Wall Street, but on the battlefield. In 1694, England was at war with France and running out of money. The king turned to merchants and made a deal. Lend me money now, and I'll pay you interest later using future taxes. To manage this arrangement, the Bank of England was created. For the first time, a state could spend money it didn't yet have. In return, the merchants received a promise, one that could be traded, bought, and sold. This was the birth of the government bond and the foundation of the modern financial system. France copied it. The Netherlands refined it. The United States used it to fund independence and expand westward. Debt was no longer a weakness. It became a sign of power. The ability to borrow was the ability to rule. Empires once conquered land to extract gold. Now they issued bonds to extract interest. The battlefield changed. The new front line was the balance sheet. Today, debt is the world's largest product. Every country owes, every bank lends, every citizen, through taxes and pensions, is both a debtor and a creditor. So where does the chain end? Look at the United States. Its debt isn't just national, it's global. Most U.S. debt is owed to Americans themselves. Banks, pension funds, insurance companies, and the Federal Reserve. Foreign countries hold far less than people assume. China owns only a small fraction. In other words, America mostly owes money to itself. The government issues bonds. Banks buy them. The central bank buys them back and creates new money. Taxes pay the interest, which flows back into the same system. It's a loop. The debt is real, but the creditor is often the system itself. And this isn't unique to the U.S. countries lend to each other through bonds, international institutions, and foreign reserves. Everyone holds someone else's promise. But one rule keeps the game alive. No one leaves the table. Then there are the markets. Behind every bond stands a network of funds, banks, and central banks controlling trillions in assets. They decide who borrows cheaply and who pays a price just to survive. Democracy chooses governments. Markets decide survival. At the center are central banks. They don't just manage debt. They create it. When a bond is bought, new money is created. One institution's liability becomes another's asset. Every dollar in circulation is tied to debt somewhere else. There is no debt-free money. This system survives on one thing: confidence. No one expects debt to be paid off. They expect it to be rolled over. We've seen what happens when confidence breaks. In Greece, Argentina, and Sri Lanka. When crisis hits, creditors become visible. Institutions step in. Conditions are imposed. Then the cycle restarts. Old debts are replaced by new ones. Because modern debt isn't meant to be repaid. It's meant to be renewed. Governments don't plan to eliminate debt. They refinance it. Interest is the real product. The U.S. will never fully pay off its debt. Japan has rolled over its debt for decades. And investors don't panic. Because government bonds are treated as the safest assets in the world. Here's the irony. If the U.S. actually paid off all its debt, the global financial system would collapse. Bonds aren't just debt. They are the foundation of modern markets. That's why debt isn't eliminated. It's managed. When politicians promise to pay off the debt, they're telling a story. The reality is simpler. The system breathes through debt. And one last thing matters. Debt doesn't affect everyone equally. Interest flows upward, from workers and taxpayers to institutions and investors. Debt isn't just a transfer between countries. It's a transfer within society. We are all inside this system, both debtors and creditors. But when confidence breaks, everything becomes personal. Because in the end, debt is a promise made to the future, and no promise lasts forever.